Welcome to the Vibes Podcast, your one-stop shop for all the latest tech news.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Vibes. And yes, it has been a little while with all the things that's happening around us. I hope that you're all keeping safe and adhering to what the government and what the authorities are saying around you. Now, you might be thinking that during this time period, not a lot has been going on, but that's not necessarily been true in the world of technology. A few things have been going on in the background, and I wanted to give you all an update of what's been happening. So first of all, Microsoft has now made a change when it comes to Office 365. They're going to rename the entire service as Microsoft 365. Nothing else really changes, but you get a few more additional stuff like the Family Safety app, for example, that you can download. But there are going to be new capabilities, which I am really excited to see. So the first capability that they're going to be adding is called Microsoft Editor. And basically, just imagine Grammarly, essentially what it is, built into Word, Excel, Office, in terms of Outlook and all of those. So you'll have the power of AI ensuring that your basic spelling and grammar is really taken to the next level. So Microsoft are basically making a Grammarly competitor. So that was really interesting to see. The next thing is obviously PowerPoint Presenter Coach. I've mentioned this before, but it's a tool that when you're doing presentations or if you're doing a dry run, it can actually listen to what you're saying, and then on the screen as you're giving a presentation in a dry run or in real life, it will tell you, that you're talking too fast, talking too slowly, if you need to stop reading from your bullet points. So a really, really interesting addition coming on. It's going to be interesting to see when all of these additional functions are going to be rolled out, but they are saying that it's going to happen fairly soon. So that's an interesting thing to kick off with. Really interesting to see on that front. Now, OnePlus, a mobile phone manufacturer, are looking to unveil their new phones on the April 14th, which is just a couple of days away from now. Obviously, we're going to see the announcement of the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, I had the OnePlus 7 Pro, which was a 5G phone. It was my first ever 5G device, and it was amazing. Now, there were one or two things about that phone that wasn't great. For example, it wasn't really water resistant. At the same time, it had a great 90 hertz screen, which I really liked. Things are now having a 120 hertz screen to make it seem a lot more smoother overall when you use the device. But the camera was the one thing that really let it down. So it's going to be really interesting to see if there will be camera improvements in the new OnePlus 8 phone that's going to be that's going to be released. But interesting to see that there are manufacturers still looking to release mobile phones. There will be a live stream on YouTube on the 14th if you want to keep an eye out for it. Now, at the same time, I want to bring Apple into the picture. There's been a lot of rumors about Apple releasing an iPhone 9. It's seeming more likely that it's going to be called the iPhone SE or SE2, so special edition, and it's going to be in the shape of an iPhone 8. So basically, just imagine having an iPhone 8 in your hand, but with the internals of an iPhone 11. I don't think there's going to be any improvements on the camera front, but really interesting to see that Apple are looking to make more and more affordable phones. Google have taken this stance, as you know. They have the Google 3A, 3A XL. We're waiting for the 4A, 4A XL phones to come out soon, which is basically a cheaper alternative to the premium phones. And when it comes to mobile phones, maybe premium is not the way to go. The prices are fairly ridiculous at the moment, where you're paying over $1,000 or £1,000 for a phone. So it's a very, very interesting time. Are we going to see a shift of what kind of mobile phones people buy, where they're more than happy to buy mid-range? Not too sure. So, this is interesting to see. The next topic is Half-Life. The new Half-Life game, which is based on VR, came out about a week or so ago. I've been playing it during my spare time. I have plenty of spare time. And it is absolutely amazing. If you have a VR headset that works on a computer, I really, really highly suggest for everybody to download Half-Life Alex is what it's called, via Steam VR, and to play around with it. The experience is amazing. The only thing that I didn't like about the game is you can't really use the controller to move in terms of step forward or back. You kind of hop from one location to another. But it actually does feel like you are in that world. It is really immersive. The storyline's amazing so far from what I played with it. So really interesting. I believe that this one game alone has brought VR back into the limelight in no ways than any other company. Talking about VR, I've personally have been using a VR headset to do box VR, to do some exercises in. So if you do have a VR headset, look at the fitness element into it. It will keep you going. I really rate the Box VR app. I do sweat. I do get tired from it all. But in terms of gaming sense and really seeing the true potential of VR, Half-Life Alyx is one of those games that have really, really brought it forward. Now, during this time, there's also been some acquisitions from companies, and Apple have bought the weather app Dark Sky. It was highly rated and regarded for its radar maps and accuracy of its weather minute-by-minute predictions. Apple have now bought them out, but as you can imagine, by Apple buying them out, this application will be coming off Android and Wear OS on the 1st of July. It's going to be interesting to see how Dark Skies will tie into Apple Weather. Will it be merged together for iOS 14? Not too sure, but they are definitely looking to have a better weather prediction overall with that. So Apple have been making an interesting buyout there where they bought out Dark Sky. So very interesting to see there. Now, if you are a Snapchat user and you use Snapchat quite regularly, or if you're using it more, Snapchat now has a new Lens VR that uses AR, which basically uses your real world around you and layers something on top of that to encourage you to have social distancing. So basically, if you pull up the application, if you have the camera, and as you're walking, it will actually show you the distance that you're supposed to have from the person in front of you, which I think is really, really cool. The lens was made in collaboration with the World Health Organization. It's called My Social Distance, Practical Social Distancing. It is really interesting to see an app used in that purpose, where it can show you how far that you need to be from the person in front and the person behind you by using the camera on your phone. So if you're using Snapchat, if you're out and about in the shops, for example, please use the lens, as it will give you the distance that you need to have, which all the authorities and the government are saying. Slack, obviously a competitor to Teams. Weirdly enough, they're working with each other. So Slack is adding Microsoft Team video calls option, and they're also adding Zoom as an option to do video calls directly from its messaging service. It's really interesting to see that Slack are allowing Microsoft Teams, which is a direct competitor, to be able to do those calls through the format. But I guess they want to obviously make sure that during this period where everybody's working from home, they can use all kinds of options, all kinds of, means of calling work colleagues, etc. So great to see that happen as well, that Slack are working. And, good on Microsoft are working with Slack as well. These are organizations that are working together to ensure that everybody can work at home remotely. Zoom as well is a very popular app. You may have seen quite a lot of news about Zoom, about the challenges with Zoom, that it may not be secure. What I want to say to everybody out there is Zoom is a very young company and they're going to face challenges, but it is a very, very good tool. There are how-to guides on how to make it secure. So please do read into it. Please do read into any guidance that the organization gives, that your company gives, and what you should do to secure and to ensure that your meetings are secure on that platform. Facebook has debuted a standalone Messenger app on Mac and PC, and it also brings in video calls, which is amazing. So if you are someone who uses Facebook Messenger a lot on their phone or on their tablets, for example, you can now download Facebook Messenger on your PC, on your Mac, and be able to do video calls. So again, really interesting to see these companies really leveraging messaging and video calls on there. So if you're a heavy user of Facebook Messenger, feel free to download that. Now, in a recent support video, Apple have been hinting their item tracking, probably called AirTag. Now, I have something called a Tile. How the Tile works is whenever I lose my wallet around the house, or I don't know where my keys are, I can pick up my phone, say find my keys, and this Tile, this little thing that I've added to the keys, will make a sound. It looks like Apple are working on there. A video has kind of showed that they are working on something. We're calling it AirTags. That's what we think is going to be called. But it appears to be coming soon. I imagine that we will hear about it in the next couple of months about this all, including any other updates that we're going to see, like the iPhone SE, for example, at the same time. But really interesting to see that Apple are working on a device tracking thing. The Find My application is great. However, I've been trying it out with my family, with my partner. It's not 100%. So hopefully at some point, they can improve on that technology. But the fact that you can locate your keys, locate, your bag, whatever you put the tags in, that's pretty cool. And Apple's working on that technology, and hopefully we should see it soon. Lyft, the popular taxi app primarily in the US, are looking to provide free scooter rides to critical workers, and they're giving unlimited 30-minute rides, and it's available in 6 major cities from what I can tell. So you've got New York City, Chicago, Bay Area, Boston as being some of those. We've got, Los Angeles, San Diego, Santa Monica as well, I think, is in that. So, if you are a critical care worker in those areas and you need to get around, you can get onto the Lyft scooters, and it's free for 30 minutes in these particular cities. And obviously it is very important for our critical workers to be able to move about, and the fact that Lyft are doing that is great. Now in the US, if you are a subscriber to Google Fi, Google Fi have temporarily increased its data limits to 30 gigabytes per month. So it allows you to use more of your data, to be able to make those calls or video calls, etc. So to see Google doing that is amazing. I think the previous plan had 15 gigabytes, so you're getting double the amount of data. So, it is great that they're doing that. So if you are on Google Fi, you have more access to data. Now, virtual races. Now, I'm a massive Formula One fan, and my heart is broken that Formula One is not taking place, but it's the right thing to do. However, esports have really kicked off. You have been given the option to watch professional races use video games to race around in. So you got F1 2019, you've got a lot of professional Formula One drivers mixed in with esports racing drivers racing each other. I've been watching that every week or so. Porsche Virtual Race Series has already started, and you've had people get into a racing setup gear at home, and they're racing each other professionally online. Is this going to be the birth of esports as a whole? Is this going to bring more interest of people watching esports, giving that more of a clout, making it a sport overall? It's a really interesting conversation to have. I would love to know what you all feel about that. But again, something that's really kicking off. So, you've have, professional racers playing online racing games to race each other. So really, really interesting to see to see on that front. So awesome thing right there. Esports definitely kicking up. Apple, again, another acquisition from Apple, and I'm going through what the news has been going on throughout the weeks or so. They've bought out Voices, which is an AI tool that responds to natural language requests better. So rumors are going around by this acquisition by Apple of Voices. They're saying that Siri might actually begin to understand more natural speech languages. Are they going to make Siri hit the point of Amazon's voice assistant to Google's voice assistant? It's going to be very, very interesting to see that. I think Siri is lagging behind quite heavily, so any small thing can really help that. Things like, hey, I've lost my keys, and it'll be able to help you out to find your keys or stuff like that. To use natural language is the way forward. So Apple making more acquisitions. Now, with Zoom's recent issues that we've been having and people not using it or people being concerned, Microsoft have kind of taken advantage of this, and Skype has now rolled out a Meet Now functionality that doesn't need you to sign up to Skype, and it doesn't need you to install Skype. You just log on, you go to Meet Now, and it takes you straight into a meeting, and you can share that link with everybody around your organization. So if you are a little bit hesitant to use Zoom, you can always use Skype. You can use the Meet Now feature. There is zero. I played around with it the other day. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to do anything else. It just works by clicking on it. So very, very clever technology there. Now, Disney Plus is now out in the UK. Woo! It's great to see that it's out there. It's a little bit annoying that they're making the UK viewers watch it week by week for The Mandalorian. I've seen it all. I think Disney Plus is amazing. But a big movie that was going to be coming out in the theatre is no longer going to be coming out in the theatre. It's now going to be on Disney Plus, and the movie is called Artemis Fowl. So if you've been looking forward to that movie, if you've been looking forward to watching that in the cinema, it's not going to be in the cinema now. It's going to be heading straight to Disney Plus. And so if you want to sign up to Disney Plus, check it out. I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. There's a lot of streaming services. I think Netflix and Disney Plus are going to be the two big players in the future. It's going to be interesting. I already subscribed to Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to the movie because that was one of the films I wanted to watch in cinema, so I can watch it in the comfort of my own home. Now, I mentioned about Zoom earlier on. Zoom are going to be enabling waiting rooms by default to stop people jumping into meetings. They were going to roll that out on the 5th of April. A really, really interesting thing. It's going to change how people join meetings overall. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this. This is literally rolling out for 5th of April, like I said. So you have to put in the code. You have to, it's going to keep your meetings a lot more secure. So good to see that Zoom are going to enable that. I've just come across that news literally right now. They are going to require you to put in passwords and passcodes to enter in. Apple, again, I'm going to bring them up. They haven't acquired the company. They're looking to acquire another company, and it's called NextVR. Now, if you've used NextVR, they are an events company that allows you to watch events as if you're actually there. So NextVR is definitely going to be really cool to actually see. If you haven't tried it out on any of your other VR headsets, try it out. You can watch, live sporting events, live music events, live theater events, and all sorts. There's loads, but Apple are looking to buy them out. Is this a hint that Apple are going to be releasing a VR headset? Is this a hint that it's going to be more with Apple glasses? Not too sure, but the deal is probably worth about $100 million. Let's see what happens. That may not be the case. But they are looking into it, as they say. Now, being a gamer myself, to see E3 be cancelled was a kick in the gut. Just not able to see the latest games or the latest news. You can see it online, but this was the one area where it all happened. Again, it was the right thing to do. But E3 will return next year on the 15th of June in 2021. So if you are a big gaming fan, if you're disappointed with E3 not coming on this year, it's definitely back on next year, 15th of June 2021. Save it in your diaries. There's going to be a lot of news. Obviously, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One Series X will be out by then. Will we see a new Nintendo in that period? There's a lot of rumors going around about a Nintendo Pro. Interesting times. Apple, iOS 14. There's a lot of murmurs going around it. There's talks about widgets coming to the home screen. That has been ongoing forever, as I can remember. Google already allows you to do that. Are Apple going to follow suit in that? I'm not too sure. Is there going to be a big change in iOS 14? Nobody can really say what's going to be happening. I don't think they're going to stay too much away from a formula that works. So, let's not jump to any conclusions, but any changes will be recommended. A lot of people that hack their iPhones to put on different kind of menu systems. I mean, some of the things are amazing in what people do. I don't recommend anybody doing that, but there is definitely potential for the OS to look better, feel better, have more functionality. So something to look out for there. Now, the big thing, YouTube have begun to take down videos linking 5G to coronaviruses. UK phone masts have been attacked, have been burnt, 5G masts have been destroyed because of this all, because there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of speculation that 5G is causing coronavirus, which is just baffling. There is no evidence to actually suggest that. There's no evidence to suggest that 5G is bad. I don't see it to be any different from 4G or 3G. I mean, if we had an issue with such technology, we should have had issues when mobile phones first began, in my opinion. However, like I said, a lot of 5G equipment are being damaged out in the public, and everybody's urging for people not to do that. There is no link between the two, and for anybody listening, don't link the two. Whatever videos that you're seeing online are not real. And it is a shame because, this is the next step of our infrastructure and people are destroying what the next step is. So, it is a shame. A lot of money has been spent by companies and by people to invest in this technology, and people are ruining it. It is a sad state of affair with that happening. I can't believe that people are actually going out there doing that in the first place. But that is happening, and there are companies saying please stop doing it, and YouTube are actively taking down any videos that are linking the two together because they are not linked. So that's in the 5G space. Now, music streaming. Subscriptions have grown by a third towards the end of 2019. Apple and Amazon are definitely catching up to Spotify in terms of listeners. The growth was something around 32%. So streaming is definitely the way forward. Are you still buying CDs? Are you still buying, albums or singles or anything? Please do reach out if you still do that. But I think music streaming has definitely overtaken. They're definitely moving forwards in that front. Really interesting to see. Streaming is the future. I mean, I talk about video game streaming. I'm going to talk about something later on in this podcast about video game streaming. But, there's definitely something out there with that. So Google and Apple have both worked on their map application, where they're now showing everybody locations of restaurants that are delivering food. And this is a really welcomed addition because you can go straight to your map application and see what restaurants are around you where you can get food delivered to you. And hopefully we should see this implementation stay for a long while, and it could give a lot of challenges to third party such as Deliveroo or Uber Eats, or they could work with such partners to get that information in. So really interesting to see the maps having those kind of additions. So thank you to Google and Apple for doing that. There's also on the Apple side, there was a flaw in Safari that let intruders hijack cameras on iPhones and Macs. However, I think this was done as part of a security bounty hunter thing, where organizations ask people to hack their tools. So it wasn't really out there as much. But it's nice to know that Apple have already released a fix for that issue. So it's not an issue if you have kept your phone up to date. So make sure you do keep everything up to date. And I cannot stress enough that during this period, you must always keep your machines and your phones up to date in terms of software. Now, there's been a lot of reviews for the new Samsung Galaxy Chromebook. They say that it is an amazing piece of kit. However, the battery is awful because of the 4K output. It's sad to see that is the case. I know Chromebooks have always touted themselves to be amazing when it comes to battery life, but when it comes to doing 4K output, it seems like that battery life just diminishes and vanishes. So if you're looking to get yourself a Chromebook, stick with the normal screen. Don't get the 4K until they manage to figure out what's going on with the batteries. TCL, known for making screens, known for making phones, are going to be releasing a phone that's going to cost roughly about 400 euros is what they're saying, that has 5G built in, that has an amazing screen built in, that has a decent processor, 64 megapixel main camera, there's a wide angle lens, front camera is really good. So, for that kind of cost, and for TCL making a high-end phone that has 5G, that is amazing. And it goes back to the trend of people now looking to get phones that don't cost an arm and a leg. So, definitely a big thing. Uber are recognizing that drivers are facing major work shortages at the moment. So they have built a tool to help their drivers find work at other companies during this period. If you're an Uber driver, the area is called Work Hub. It will help out with Uber Eat deliveries. It will help out with other opportunities with other companies, for example, delivering IT stock or delivering other kind of items. So if you do an Uber drive, or if you do rely on that, please do have a look at the tool where it gives you other jobs that you can work on. Other things that are going on, Headspace, it's a mindfulness application, very popular, are offering free mindfulness exercises to help with stress. And it's there to help you out during this period. It's not easy to be bunged up indoors all day long sometimes. So to see that a major mindfulness application such as Headspace are allowing you to do that. A few days ago, there's been an update to all the Google Pixel 4 owners out there. It now has an option where it adds an eyes open check. So basically, with the Google Pixel 4, you could just point it to anybody's face that it was. So if it was my face, if I'm fast asleep, somebody can just grab a phone, point it at my face, and the phone would then unlock. Now Google have now added a feature where you have to have your eyes open. You can enable that feature. So it checks that your eyes are open and then it will unlock the phone. A bit odd why it's taken so long for this update to have come out, but I'm sure that is a welcome addition to the security part when it comes for Pixel owners, when it comes to accessing mobile phones. Microsoft have some movements. They've hired an Apple former wireless technical chief for its hardware division. The guy's name, I think, is Rubens Caballero or something like that. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. He's going to be working on HoloLens and other special projects as well when it comes to wireless connectivity for those devices. WhatsApp, there's been a change on WhatsApp. The company wants to slow down the spread of misinformation. So because of that, they're now imposing stricter limits on message forwarding. There's been a lot of messages that's been flouted around that are fake, and WhatsApp and Facebook are working together to ensure that that is lessened. Microsoft gaming streaming project xCloud Beta has its sign up in 11 new countries, which is going to be Denmark, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, and Sweden. It's not very clear when it's going to happen, but it's definitely on the card. So if you're in those areas, you want to check out Microsoft game streaming on your mobile device, it will be coming out soon. There was a teaser of Lego and Nintendo working together, and the announcement has now been official that there's going to be a Lego Super Mario set that's going to be launching on the 1st of August. So if you're looking for birthday presents for young'uns who love Mario, who love Nintendo, or if you love Nintendo yourself, like I do, the Lego set will be coming out soon. There are updates to Firefox. The address bar has changed. It's been revamped. So if you're an avid user of Firefox over Chrome, for example, it is designed to make the searching a lot more faster and easier. Now, what's a really interesting fact is that Microsoft Edge has now become number 2 in the browser front after Chrome. So it seems like Firefox have got a battle on their hands. The new Edge is amazing. Definitely something to look out for in terms of that battle. Pinterest, an application where people like to have a style or to see something that they like. They're now working on ways to make it easier for you to buy items that you see within Pinterest. I think that's a very welcome surprise. I know there's been a few times when I looked at items on Pinterest when I used to be on it a very long time ago, like let's say a pair of shoes, and I want to buy it, but I don't know where to buy it from. That'll now be possible. Samsung, not spoken about Samsung too much, but their Galaxy Fold 2 is touted to be a lot more affordable, but those are just rumors. The rumors about the Fold 2 as well. I'm sure that's going to happen this year at some point. Let's see what happens. Facebook are releasing a new tool to let gamers plan for their own esport tournaments. So if you want to create your own tournament for esports, Facebook are calling it tournaments on Facebook Gaming. You can create your own tournament, so that's something to definitely look out for on that space. Facebook are also experimenting an app called Private Space, which is just for couples to exchange pictures or to basically to feel connected whilst you are apart. I don't know why they need an app for that, but interesting to see that they are doing that. If you are a parent, you own Netflix, there are going to be new parental controls that are going to be rolling out, including pin protected profiles. So now children will now need to know your PIN to access your area of Netflix. There's a lot of great shows on Netflix, but obviously there are certain stuff that you don't want your children to watch, for example. So definitely a welcome addition for sure. And the last thing that I want to end this podcast on, and there's been a lot of information I've been throwing at you all, so sorry, is that the Sony PlayStation 5 has finally revealed its controller. And it's different. It's a black and white controller. The buttons are more or less the same, but the look of it feels a lot more chunkier, and it looks like to rival the sizing of an Xbox controller. So I think I was never a fan of the PlayStation controller because I felt the handles were too small. They seem to have done that to be a bit more thicker. It's no longer known as the DualShock controller. No, it's now known as the DualSense. And there's going to be a built-in microphone in this thing, and there's going to be adaptive triggers. So really interesting to see. I think everybody's really excited to see how the PlayStation 5 looks like. God knows, a lot of rumors, a lot of drawings are out there, but let's hope it looks nice. The controller being black and white suggests that the PlayStation 5 might be black and white. Let me know what you are excited about. I hope that you've enjoyed the podcast this week. There's a lot of information that I've thrown out to you, but hopefully I shall chat to you all soon. Keep safe. Remember, please do follow what's being said by your local authorities during this period. Please be safe. I will be doing more podcasts on different topics. So I will be stretching this podcast out. I'm hoping to do one on Friday with another topic with a friend of mine. Let's see how that goes. But thank you very much for listening to my podcast. Thank you for the love.